We all are struggling to live our best lives and be our best selves in closed quarters on top of one another. And to the extent that we can, to try to be compassionate about other people's living situations and to just be mindful about not weaponizing the police over a situation like a child making noise, because that could end fatally. I really would like people to not make an assumption that a parent who has a child on the spectrum in particular is allowing that to happen unchecked, is allowing children to run amok with the intentionality of disrespecting your right to peace, your right to living your life uninterrupted. All of our lives are interrupted at this point. Hold on one second, because of course now my boys are in here wrestling. Kiki, come on baby, you gotta take that back out there in the living room. So we live in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, which is just outside of Philadelphia. And where we live actually is an apartment complex. I have husband Kerwin, and we have two sons. One son is Keith, who's 8 years old, and Maceo, who is 7 years old. And Maceo is diagnosed with autism with speech delay. Put the red square on the word show. Put the red square on the word show. Good job. Maceo is one of these children that you learn to slow down and focus on a granular level about the beauty of life. Needless to say that in terms of other challenges, he can be overwhelmed. Most times his behavior is not predictable. So Maceo may just jump for no reason or run in place or glide. Before the pandemic, we were hardly home. Maceo and Keith were in school for a full day. The clinic where Maceo was getting his therapy was open. We'd take them to the library, Legoland, trampoline park, the playground. We can't do any of those things. And in Maceo's case, because of his sensory issues, Maceo doesn't wear a mask. So we're now with the at-home therapist and his school working to desensitize him so that he will tolerate wearing a mask. But we have not taken Maceo into a supermarket for months. No supermarket, no any of that. We live in an apartment complex. We have thin walls. We're mindful of our kids making noise. In particular, in the case with Maceo, that his noise can be unpredictable.
I had a big family. Seeds everywhere.
But we've really been trying to live in this space with a high level of respectfulness for others. And if it were not for the pandemic, we all would not be as much at home as we are now. So when the police came to our door back in July and saying that our neighbors had called because of a noise complaint, that was startling. As a mother of a child on the spectrum who cannot articulate themselves as of yet the way that neurotypical people can, I'm that much more heightened about when police are knocking at our front door. And knowing that the neighbors know that our child is on the spectrum and still call the police, and call the police on a 7-year-old child, that's hard. We are very fortunate that the police officer that responded, he really helped to de-escalate that situation. And this can happen any other place with officers who may or may not have training, and then a fatality could happen, all because of a presumption about a child who's on the spectrum.
Like this.
So a few days ago, we were all in the living room, dining room area, and we heard the knock on the door. And it was as if, again, like muscle memory, all of us got startled and then looked out the window to see if it were a police car downstairs, reminiscent of what happened to us back in July. Kerwin then went to the door and then asked, well, who is it? And then that's when the person introduced themselves, that they were a pollster, and they also wanted to know, have we registered to vote? Did we need any information? And then that's when, the temperature lowered and everything was then settled. That knock for all of us scared us, kind of reinvigorated that trauma you feel where the knock on the door means the police are there and there's something something could happen. Why do I have to live in fear of a knock at my door? I'm in here just trying to make sure that my kids don't get COVID. I'm just trying to keep 3 people alive every day. So a knock at the door it's like, that's the least thing I need right now. He says, now I am cool. If you want to be cool, just be you.